Getting caught between two warring factions isn't always a comfortable spot to be in, but sometimes the small group of middlemen can find some fun in it, even if it ends up getting them caught into the larger conflict. Our story starts with Hyur, a specially trained operative recently returned from a mission to gather intelligence. Literally. By day, Hyur is an armorsmith with crafts rivaled by no other. By night, however, she explores the land to note threats to the areas surrounding her home, which she built up from day one. Her mission today is to travel to a nearby bandit encampment and neutralize a few threats, as well as steal any outstanding supplies they might have. Yet, forgetting to pack some essential equipment makes the trip take slightly longer than expected. Arriving by cover of nighttime, Hyur easily infiltrates the enemy base and knocks a few of the front guards unconscious, thankfully not drawing their attention just yet. After disarming them, she steps inside to see several people still milling about inside, and fails a knockout attempt on one of the guards, alerting everybody and forcing her to retreat. With a small amount more crossbow experience under her belt, Hyur realizes that the odds aren't in her favor and fails to find a medkit in her equipment. Thinking swiftly, she decides to retreat to a nearby tech hunter encampment to lose heat for the night and replenish her vitals, as well as purchase a few more necessary supplies for the journey ahead. The attention faded away from her in the journey to the way station. Once there, she managed to acquire first aid, food, and 3 new friends. They went by the names of Rin, Marisa, and Peace. Hyur purchased a mercenary caravan to travel alongside them back to the home base of Ebit before settling in for a rest and recovery. Her wounds needed attention, but that wouldn't stop her from infiltrating deeper into the base, which was still only one of 2 nearby. Setting out again, Hyur easily dispatched the front guard and made her way much deeper into the compound, even making her way to the top of a nearby tower and finding a pleasant surprise. Backpacks, hers for the taking. Yet, as she descended the tower, it seemed as though the bandits knew of their loss of goods and took out their frustrations on Hyur, forcing her to leave yet again. On the way out, though, she ran into Marisa and the rest of her new squad, whose pathing had apparently bugged it. I still don't know why they came out. Taking this strange turn of events in their favor, however, Hyur and the others quickly turned the tide against the bandits outside. Soon enough, they regrouped, got patched up, and decided to take their momentary advantage all the way. Pushing much deeper into the base and attacking several who had holed up in a dilapidated building. Unfortunately, Hyur's sneak attack was seen coming from a mile away, but she still knocked the guy down immediately with a well-placed bolt. The battle raged on in the tight corridor until all the bandits had been felled and only one member of the friendly squad had fallen unconscious. They actually returned to Ebit this time, and Hyur went into the tower to take out one of the last stragglers, entering an intense crossbow duel that spanned millennia and light years. With victory claimed and her appetite for the defeat of her enemies not sated, Hyur set her sights on another destination in the distance of a clan that had given her and her people of the Crow's Nest much trouble since the start of their journey, with various raids, attacks, and robberies. The one and only Black Dragon Ninjas. Unfortunately, though, the plan to attack immediately was thwarted by her getting spotted and her assassination attempt failing. Attacking during broad daylight didn't seem like the way to go, but luckily, she got a few more tries at it because the ninjas are very forgiving. When those failures continued, however, Hyur decided to wait for cover of darkness once more, and instead chose to attack during a dust storm. Actually succeeded, but then caught several changings of the guard taking place as she knocked each one down. Eventually, and finally, she made her way inside the tower, and noted a single target on the second floor that she could take down, doing so in record time and picking the lock on the chest nearby. Holy shit! Jackpot! An ancient science book! And even better, there were cages on the floor above her, so she could trap the people who had caused her group so much grief in cages like she believed they deserved. Not wanting to waste any more time, Hyur hurried up and imprisoned the first of the offenders, heart pounding as she examined the final floor. It looked like a sniper's den with several people set up. Over the next several minutes, she carefully knocked out each guard, as well as the several people that would come from downstairs to take their place, systematically taking them all to the cages on the floor below. Her never-ending supply of luck didn't run dry that night, because she even found a high-value target mixed in with the ruffians. She took mental note of him before moving on to all the rest. With most of the guards imprisoned and the rest oblivious, she stole away the apparent leader of the ninjas and took him away, deciding to head towards the nearest town where his bounty remained, the holy nation city of Bad Teeth. Shortly after her arrival, she found a very obvious lack of a police station there, and got kicked out of the only building she believed to be one. Obeying, but remembering the offense, Hyur rushed out of the building and headed to the next closest holy nation city, being Stack. Her journey to the city itself was uneventful, which she was more than thankful for, and easily navigated to the police station after an earlier journey there. She stepped in right past the gaze of the High Inquisitor, not wishing to speak to him after a negative first meeting in the past. Instead, she simply placed her prisoner into a cage and thought about moving on her way. Yet, merely out of curiosity, she wanted to speak to the Inquisitor and see if he had any thanks for her. This slighting of her wouldn't stand. For too long had the Holy Nation hated her simply because of her gender. Now was her time to get back at the nation, as well as one of its highest Inquisitors. Even if this would alter her no-man land's peace, it would have to happen to lead to more of it in the distant future. At this point, she didn't care for the money. Something else motivated her. So, carefully, she slunk into the Inquisitor's room and managed to knock him out, the closest chance of failure yet on her maneuver. She stripped him clean of his specialist quality possessions over several minutes, and then started on her way out of the base. Before, sorting her possessions again. Unfortunately, the bulk of all that she carried seemed slightly too much to handle on her way out, and a guard quickly spotted her. Adrenaline in her veins and not enough air in her lungs, she bolted for the gates and managed to get out just in time before the alarm could raise. She escaped with a governor and not a scratch on her. Walking past her home towards the Shet Kingdom city of Squint, she noticed her neighbor being attacked by a group of starving bandits. Appalled at the treatment, she kept a tight grip on her prisoner and single-handedly took out several of the people attacking. Shortly after the battle, she realized something. She had a price on her head, but it paled in comparison to the person on her shoulders. The city was in sight, and her long day was about to come to a triumphant end. She walked courageously up to the unforgiving gazes of the proud Shek warriors and handed the Inquisitor forward to the police officer on duty. This one gave her the respect she deserved, and he carried the prisoner up to where another one of her earlier jobs was stored, a Dust King. On her way out, the officer seemed to ask something, why it was that she did all this. As Hyur exited the police station, she looked over her shoulder and gave one final remark to the officer. I don't do it for the bounties. I do it for the stories. Yet, with Holy Nation aggression on the horizon, was the story worth it? Only time would tell. Hello everybody, I'm Crow Gimmick, and thank you for watching. I don't know what that was, but I had a lot of fun making it, even though it took several hours longer than I originally anticipated. I tried going for something sort of like Wellen, does with Rust videos, but I thought Kenshi would be kind of an interesting experiment with it. For the events of this video session, I was just playing normally and watching YouTube and stuff in the background, hence why there's no in-game audio, and only me saying one expletive whenever I found the ancient science book. But if you enjoyed this, subscribe. I do videos kind of like this every once in a while. There should be links on screen to subscribe or check out some of my other stuff, and hey, please remember to stay hydrated. Have a nice day.